Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And we are still on vacation, but we decided, hey, why don't we let's watch the Halo finale?
Yeah, and you know what? We had instant regrets.
Yeah, it kind of, it ruined my day.
Yeah. Why?
So we have done spoiler chats up until the end of episode 7.
Yes.
And then we were in Jamaica, so we didn't do episode 8. And so we're just going to do the last 2 episodes together.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to talk about every moment of these, because they're bad.
I don't want to relive it. I don't want
pointless.
you to have to relive it. There's no... I remember, okay, when we finished episode 7, you were like, you know what? The show still has a chance to redeem itself for me. If episode 7 and 8 are like killer...
At the end of episode 6, I said that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
At the end of that big battle where they fought the Covenant and...
Right.
And then episode 7 was the Quan Ha hour of pointless nonsense.
So basically,
which is extra pointless now that she wasn't in the final 2 episodes, and it was like, why did we do this?
She doesn't matter. Her storyline doesn't matter. None of those characters matter. Why did we waste so much time there when it was frustrating to begin with? Yeah,
and
so
I want to reiterate. I think the actor and actress, so the Bokeem Woodbine and the actress playing Quan Ha, her name is escaping me right now. I think they're both great. I think they're talented people. It is not them. It is the pointlessness of the story that they were telling on the show, and how it just did not relate thematically or storyline wise or relationship wise.
There's no reason
to anything that was happening with her A plot. It was just off in the distance.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about them the whole time because like they're not in these 2 episodes, but I do want to move past it by saying like, what was the point of the hours we spent on that storyline if it went nowhere?
Yeah, the last 3 episodes, utter trash. Absolute garbage. Like episode 7 was the worst by far. Episode 8 was like pretty bad. And then episode 9, the finale had some good moments in it, but that's all I can say.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Okay.
I think episode 8 was the worst episode of the whole season.
You think so?
Yeah, I really did not need Master Chief to have sex with a woman that he was kind of keeping as a political prisoner.
That didn't happen.
That was episode 8.
Oh, it was? Okay, yeah. No, garbage.
I really, like, the fact that, like, she's, like, a prisoner of war. Not really. She's, like, a refugee who's never met humanity.
Yeah.
Like, it was really...
You took advantage of this woman who is locked up and lonely. And, like, obviously he doesn't know that she's, like, a double agent. But if he believed that her circumstances were genuine, that is so fucked up.
Yeah, I did not like it.
No, yeah.
And honestly, like, I didn't like that it immediately made her turn away from her mission, seemingly, by ripping the Like, I was just like...
She took the nail off because she got dick one time, and I was like, okay, your entire upbringing and religion and, like, beliefs were, like, overridden by some, like, good old Master Chief D.
Yeah, it all felt very rushed. And what's crazy is that the season felt very rushed, despite the fact that nothing happened, which is an impressive thing to pull off.
Yeah, honestly, that's,
So the episode 8, essentially, nothing happens in it, except that McKee and Chief bone, and so I guess they're going to work together.
Yeah.
He pushes to get her to touch the artifact.
Yeah.
Halsey shows up and is like, don't let them do it without me, because I'm the only person who's smart enough to participate.
Yeah.
And she screws herself over completely because she behaves like an idiot through these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then, right when McKee's about to go touch the artifact, Miranda finally decodes the transmission from the Gladius.
Yeah, and like recognizes that it's McKee's voice.
I guess, even though she's speaking in Sangheili, I was like, it doesn't...
I know. I'm like,
okay,
how do you...
Sure.
The one thing, though, I'm pretty sure this was episode 8, was when Halsey, pretended to be, like, nice to Miranda to get her, like, eye scan.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Why?
To get access to... Wait, what? Yeah, what did she get access to with the eye scan? I don't even know.
Yeah, she got access to the information.
I just wanted a Halo show, and instead I got a bunch of humans dicking around in a military base and Quan Ha dicking around on her planet.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't care about any of it. And what pisses me off... So, episode 9 ends, Halsey turns the Spartans on Master Chief. They beat the shit out of Master Chief. Because apparently they are robots, but they're not robots. Whatever.
But they're not. They are all, like, very emotional, even though 2 of them still have their pellets in.
Yeah, and Varric is hilarious. Varric is so... Riz and Varric are so funny in episode 9. I will say, the 4 Spartans, when they're working together, their chemistry's... Like, if they're going to do a season 2, the chemistry of the 4 Spartans... I don't know what's going to happen to Riz, but the chemistry of the four Spartans, I actually really was impressed by. I
Yeah.
thought the four actors really brought it, and their scenes together were fun, and I enjoyed them.
Yes.
So McKee touches the obelisk, everything explodes.
Yeah,
because
they,
the
like,
obelisk
zap
changes
her
every time they touch it, a different thing happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Do they control what happens?
I don't know. It seems like McKee kind of has some kind of control over it because she's been raised. We're never told. And she has that weird flashback to the like planet when she was like abducted and almost kissed, and like I was like, why are we leaning into this? It's so weird.
The obelisk does whatever the script needs it to in that moment.
Yes.
And it's so inconsistent that you just kind of are like, whatever.
Yeah.
So then episode 9 starts with the aftermath of that. Halsey's taking off because McKee's not going to get there in time. McKee has taken the obelisk, which apparently she can touch. I don't know. She gets it into a case somehow and runs away with it.
It's in a case.
A ghost, or a phantom rather, that there's no security protocol for. There's no guns. There's no... Maybe it was an EMP from the Keystone, but the Keystone has never launched an EMP before, so it's like...
I mean, it did kind of explode the whole base.
I know, but like, how?
I don't know.
Why?
Couldn't tell you.
You know what I mean? Like, what is the Keystone? Is it a map? Is it a bomb? Does it teleport people to a place so that they fall in love? Like, what? It was just, it became a magic rock.
Yeah.
And it's Halo. It's not supposed to have magic rocks. You know what I mean? Like, it's a science thing. It's supposed to be forerunner technology.
Yeah, it's a scientifical, like... Yes, I haven't played the game, but it's like science-based and like war-based and like humanity-based. It's not magic, MacGuffins. Like
And sometimes it is a little bit, but they're always specific things.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with the Keystone ultimately became that it was so non-specific that as the audience, you had no perspective on what it was doing or why. So anyway, McKee runs away with it to the Phantom, and then John convinces the Spartans not to fight him by finally revealing to the other Spartans that they were kidnapped as kids, which I guess breaks their protocol or whatever. I don't know. So they realize that there's a poem that isn't a poem. It's just a fact. And so the Spartans are, despite the fact that the Spartans just turned on the UNSC immediately trusts them to go after the Keystone.
Yeah.
Even though they literally just committed treason for like the 4th time on the show, because apparently the UNSC just like functions on treason.
They don't care.
And
I mean, Halsey is a like key component, so. Yeah, it literally like nothing matters.
The woman, the Admiral, bless her heart, like that actress was given just
she's doing her
hardest
best.
job.
She's
where she just had to behave like a moron.
Yeah.
Who's just like, oh, betray me once, okay. Betray me twice, okay. Betray me 3 times. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Chief, go do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And so the Spartans take off. Halsey gets crashed down, but it's not Halsey, it's a clone. But then, rather than leave, she gets away. And rather than leave, she goes to a zoo, like, where she can see the military base that she's escaping from.
Yeah. She's, like, right there. And nobody notices. Yeah, even the guy calls her by her name. She doesn't even change her name. She doesn't try to disguise herself.
She's not hiding at all.
No. He's like, Dr. Halsey, you can come this way. I'm like, okay.
She's like, I'll go to the zoo.
She's only, like, the most wanted criminal probably ever. Crimes against humanity, maybe? Like...
The UNSC is literally a military state. You're telling me the zoo doesn't have cameras in it? Like, they don't have facial recognition? So, she'll be back for season 2 if they have one. Master Chief and the Spartans leave. They go to they go through a wormhole that was actually cool. I liked it. This whole sequence, I thought the visuals were great.
Yeah, the effects of it were fun. I liked it.
Yeah. It was the best part of these 2 episodes for sure.
Yeah. Well, I have to say I did enjoy like when we got to the like Covenant like religious planet. We talked about how it kind of looks like a video game.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. Like, I liked that. I liked the visuals of it. I liked that it seemed so out of this world, literally.
Yeah.
There were things about that I did really enjoy about the episode, but separate from everything else. The plot was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. They get to the planet, right?
Right. I do want to call out. Varric has some great lines here, where Kai is like, "Would you have killed me?" And Varric and Riz are both like, "Yeah, of course, yeah." And Kai's like, "Yeah, I would have killed you too. Yeah, no, I would have, but I would have felt bad about it."
Felt bad, of course.
Good banter. I also like when Cortana's like, "Yeah, this mission had really low chances to begin with," and Varric's like, "You didn't think maybe to tell me that before we left?" Like,
no, you didn't. Why would I worry you? Like.
So they get to the big climactic action sequence where apparently the Covenant are all weak and are all just like single shots, and the elites don't have shields, and
the big floaty guys just sit in their chairs and do nothing.
It just became CGI gobbledygook
Yeah,
in the worst way. At the beginning of the fight's fun, right? When they're like trying to be stealthy and they're shooting the grunts, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. The grunt CGI looked really good.
Yeah.
Once like there were like 300 Sangheili warriors coming up, and they're just standing in the doorway. They're not even in cover. They're standing in the doorway going, two, 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 two.
And I love that you were like, when those big guys popped up, you're like, this fight would be literally impossible.
Yeah, there's like 5 brutes that drop a Master Chief at once, and I was like, oh, he's dead. And the gravity hammers...
He gets hit multiple times.
He gets hit with gravity hammers, and they don't do anything to
him.
No,
he's fine. He gets back up again, because you're never going to keep him down, I guess.
It's so... This was the moment where I was... Because the people who made this talked about how they never played the games. And I was kind of like, that's fine. I don't need them to play the games to make a good TV show, as long as they understand it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Maybe they should have played the games.
Well, now I do, because this final fight, I was like...
Bonkers.
Oh, you don't get this. It's not that you didn't play the games. It's that you don't get what this is.
Yeah.
Like, they functionally don't understand how dangerous a brute is. And they make them so weak that it's like, okay, well, if Master Chief can fight 5 brutes in hand-to-hand combat, there's no stakes.
Yeah. And
then, so Master Chief has to die so that Cortana can take over, even though I don't understand why that would make him a better soldier.
It does, and that's the thing that does not make sense to me throughout this entire season, right? Halsey puts Cortana in there to have the ability to take over John, right? And Cortana learns, I don't want to take you over. Your humanity is what makes you unique and special.
Which is a great moment. Admittedly a good moment.
Great moment. And then they literally take that, light it on fire, and toss it out the window because Cortana has to take over Master Chief's body for them to win. And, like, then she brings the plane down in, and you were like, why didn't she just bring the plane down in before?
Why couldn't Cortana have been flying the plane the whole time?
Yeah, Cortana could have been a part of the battle. There was absolutely no reason for her to take over the body. I don't understand why her having control of him makes him a better soldier. I don't understand. He's already bred and, like, built for war, for combat. This is what he's done his whole life, and he is the best of the best of the best at it. Cortana is there to help analyze data and read the situation and help Master Chief. But what I was getting from the show is that she's not better than him, right?
Well, but she is now. Like, Cortana,
now she is,
like, having an AI brain, I don't really understand.
I hate it.
I hate it. I really do hate it.
I hated it so much.
But having an AI brain makes him invincible? Like,
well, and then here's the thing.
He can still... Here's the problem. Her taking over his body doesn't make him more durable.
No.
He's already as durable as he's going to get. And in order for her to take over, he had to lose his shields. And they never recharged on screen. So she did all of that with no shields on, which I was like... At least show us the shields recharging. Like lean into some of the stuff that makes it Halo. You know what I mean? Give me the noise. We all know the noise. We've all been with our boys in cover being like, I need my shield, I need my shield. Like, oh, no, it's too late. Or I need my shield, I need my shield. It pops. You get around the corner. The sniper hits you in the shoulder. You don't die. You get the sniper. Like, those moments are what Halo is, like, bred into.
Yeah.
And this show just ignored it for, oh, no, Cortana can fly planes, but only if John dies and she takes over his corpse.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't talk.
No.
Like, can she not
use his mouth to say anything? Like... It doesn't make sense.
Can Cortana not show me what that mouth do?
Jesus Christ.
And I'm just, like, infuriated by the show because they spent so much money on something that ultimately feels like nonsense.
It is not. It is 100% nonsense. Like, they were so inconsistent throughout the entire season, right? Like, they would set things up only to have them not pay off or change later on. Like, here's my thing, okay? If you have the technology for Cortana, for an AI, why aren't you building durable robots and putting this, like, AI in them instead of using human children?
Yeah. Or why not just put the AI in a Flash clone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why not? Why? Yeah. And also, why do you only have one? Like, if Cortana's this good, why only in Master Chief?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Why don't you have an army of either Flash clones or droids or robots or whatever the hell? Because you clearly have the technology. You can build those suits, right? Those suits are incredible pieces of technology. You can build a robot and then put the AI in it and have it like basically be Master Chief in the final episode.
So in the games, I know that you don't know this because you haven't played them, but in the games and in the lore of Halo, the AIs are actually ship AI for space travel, right? And so every single ship in the UNSC in the lore has an AI, and they all have different names. And so then Cortana becomes the first AI. Master Chief is the first person to get AI put into his suit.
Right. Instead of a ship.
Yeah, so his suit is able to hold Cortana.
But if you can put an AI into a suit or into a ship, why not a robot?
Well, because the premise in Halo, in the lore that this is pulling from, is that Cortana can't be the effective soldier that John can. That there's something inherent in John's humanity that makes him such a good soldier.
Right.
And that you need...
Which is what Cortana said in the final episode, and then they did not follow through with that.
And it's the reason why, like, in the games, Cortana never takes over, because Cortana and John, their symbiosis is what makes John, the Master Chief, the most effective weapon the humanity has against Covenant. Yes. That's the whole premise of this series. Yeah. And it's why it's so cool, and it's why their relationship is so beautiful, and why they have this sort of a love story as they come together, and it's gorgeous. Like, it's this epic fantasy love story between an AI and this human and it's amazing, and it was so well told in the first 3 Halo games, right? And so to take away the like context of how AI functions in the society, how impressive it is that they managed to, because they need this huge computer on a ship, and so the fact that they're able to put it in his suit, the fact that Cortana's just inside of him and can also be
outside of him,
just like anywhere.
Yeah.
It's so clear that the people who wrote the show were like, we're going to do our own thing.
Yeah.
And I tried to defend it because I didn't want to be that guy that complained about writers doing their own thing. I wanted something different with Halo. I didn't want it to be a retelling of the games because I didn't think they would pull that off in a way that I would like. But this was just...
It was not it. This was
ridiculous.
Not it. And then Mickey dies. So it's like, well, why? What's the point?
Well, and the big problem at the end of the season is that they don't go to Halo.
They don't go to Halo. They don't kill the prophets. They don't.
Well, but okay, not killing the prophets is fine, like because you need villains for future seasons. But but seriously,
strategically, why would you leave them alive?
Oh, sure. But my point is for the show, right?
Sure.
For the show, the story of season 1 was getting the Keystones together to find Halo.
Yeah.
But because of how they ended season 1, the story of season 2 is now also going to be getting the Keystones together to find Halo.
Well, they have the Keystones together.
Right, but they can't, like, the story didn't progress at the end of the season.
No.
If this was the
map was incomplete. So.
If there was one more episode, right? If there was one more episode, and the next episode was about getting John back into his body so that he could touch the Keystone, they could get the star map, I would actually be okay. I would be a little bit more okay with it.
Yeah.
Because then at least the season would end with the story of the season being told. If they need Quan Ha to be the prophet that brings John back to his body so that he can touch the Keystone, so that he can get them to Halo, if that was the end of the season, at least it would like functionally be an arc that ends.
Sure.
And then they would set up that what happens on Halo is season 2 and that there's more bad guys coming and whatever. But because of where they end this season, the story of the Keystones showing them where Halo is, which is the plot of the first season, does not resolve.
Yeah.
And so it's there's nothing here.
Yeah.
If they don't get a season 2, this is just a utter failure of a television show that accomplished literally nothing.
Yeah.
And that's sad for a full season of television.
Yeah.
Finish your stories, resolve things, and then move on. Yeah. Just have them know where Halo is. Have this season be the humans and the Covenant are racing to the Halo. And that's they shoot off into warp or whatever, and that's it, right? Yeah. Instead of this was just like,
it was bad.
Maybe they were supposed to have 10 episodes. They wrote 10 and then they didn't get to produce the 10th one. Because 9's a weird series order. Yeah. So like maybe because of COVID or budget or something, they didn't make the 10th episode. But like this isn't a finale. This is kind of a nothing episode.
Yeah, it was bad.
And the show ends with a bad taste in your mouth. Mm-hmm. And Cortana not talking. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I hated it. Let us know if you also hated it. I don't know. Like, I wish I had nice things to say. I had my one thing where I was like, I liked the beginning of that fight looked very, like, video gamey and, like, felt very...
I thought the fight choreography for a lot of the show was good. For the, like, 4 scenes where there were fights.
Yeah.
I thought the fight choreography looked great. I thought the way the Spartans moved consistently looked pretty good. The shot of Kai running down the tarmac to jump onto Halsey's ship.
Yeah.
I like that quite a bit. I thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
I liked all the actors. Honestly, here's the thing. I think the casting for the show actually pretty solid.
For the most part.
I thought the CGI of the prophets was consistently incredible, right? Like, no point did any... Some of the elites looked a little janky sometimes, but the prophets consistently were in close-up, looking great.
Yeah.
Those little testicles on their chins were in focus, and I loved it. But no, I thought the cast is all really talented people. They weren't... The script is just terrible.
Yep.
Like, this show is really badly written.
Yeah.
And... I sometimes get flack on the internet for being too forgiving. People are like, you're really nice to things. And, like, I like what I like, but, like...
This did not give you a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's it. I don't want to just keep shitting all over it, because it is what it is. I agree, like, there were good actors, but...
Before we go, I just want to say, stop. If you do season 2, Halo Writers, please, if you do season 2, don't... Get all the weird sex shit out of the show.
Yeah.
If Master Chief is gonna have sex with someone, have it be an adult who is, like, fully in control of her life.
Yeah.
Don't. I don't want to watch any more kids kiss while being child slaves on a trash planet. I do not want to watch Master Chief have sex with a woman who's
a prisoner
is essentially like a traumatized cult survivor.
Yeah.
Like, just make it less weird.
Yeah, please. That'd be great. Thanks.
I'm so uncomfortable. Also, the assistant dies.
Oh yeah, the assistant.
And they never explain why.
Weirdly, like, kissed Halsey's clone. No, he's dead. So we're never gonna find out what the fuck is wrong with him.
God, this show's bad.
If you hated this as much as we did, we were very negative. But
you're
honestly,
probably on the internet.
This show deserved it. I don't know. I'm like, I say it as it is. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah. If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit that dislike button. Leave mean comments down below. The algorithm god is hungry, and we must feed her. As always, you can follow us around the internet. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
And as always, y'all, do something nerdy tonight.
But not watch Halo.
Do you think there's going to be a season 2?
No. Bye.